So yeah, I mean, I started early. I was, in it, and I think I probably had bigger business investments and more when I was probably like 28 or 29 than I do now. I really have downsized over the years. One, because businesses weren't sustainable, and two, just because there are other priorities other than, being aggressive in business and winning this accolade and, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And I think that was my mentality for many years. It was like, okay, we did this, next, next, next. And it was next for the sake of next, right? And one day I was having this wonderful conversation with a real estate developer from California. And he was about in his 50s. And we're at this really nice restaurant having this conversation. I'm like, I'm going to do this and this and this and this. And he told me something that I will just never forget. He's like, there's no there. I go, what do you mean? He's like, you're trying to get there, but I'm just telling you, there's no there. So I'm going someplace that I'm literally never going to get to.
You haven't set the destination.
Right. That's the cycle of just, success for the sake of success, or goals for the sake of goals, right? You're trying to get to some place, but it doesn't really exist. And so I think, one of the things that I found now that I'm older, as an older entrepreneur, is, I'm not in business for the sake of the business. I'm in business for the sake of the time it affords me to spend with my kids, the quality of life, the products that I'm pushing out to the community, the opportunities that it's giving to young people or the next generation. Like, that's it. It's not about success for the sake of success, because thank you. So that's where I am now. But it took me a lot of years to get there.
Yeah, and that I completely agree with the hand claps there. Like that is a well-deserved hand clap, because to be honest, that's kind of the stage that I'm in now of trying to figure out, that balance. And I, even though I've said it all the time to my team members that you should be working for your life, you should be working to improve your life or to be able to enjoy the things in life. Life shouldn't be about work. But
Right.
unfortunately, I very many times find myself in making my life all about work. So
Right.
what obviously there was that moment that kind of made you take stock of it, but were there steps, and like you said, it's taken some time, but were there steps that you took intentionally to try to get to that point of being able to back away from work a little bit more and enjoy the fruits of your labor?
Yeah, I mean, so I was about 29. I was pregnant. We had two restaurants, big budgets, lots of staff, right? Lots of overhead. Real estate, we're flipping houses here. We got a multifamily there. Like, it was, it was all good, right? On paper, checking boxes, right? Married, kids, business. Like, I'm just checking boxes. And I'm very much so a box checker. Like, that's my nature. So, I'm like, okay, 30 under 30, 40 under 40. It's
Success.
funny
It's
now,
so success
but
for the sake of success. Yep.
it's funny now, but it was my life, right? That was my life. And there was a moment along the way where I felt, I'm like looking at my financials, right? Because I got all this stuff that from the outside looks amazing. Like, people are walking in the restaurants, they look busy, but I had a hole in my bucket. I was losing money left and right. And the only one who knew that was me, right? Because I didn't even really, and my accountant at the end of the year, but I was the one who knew it on a daily basis that there was a hole in my bucket. But I had invested so much in my own personal image of success. That was how I defined myself. And so, what was at stake if I were to tell the truth to myself about the life that I had created for myself was that wasn't happy, and I wasn't happy, and I would have to create a new life for myself. So that was what was at stake. And that's a lot, right? Once you build this image for yourself, this life, you've built your life based on this premise that I, am success. Everything that I do is successful. However, it doesn't make me happy. It doesn't make me money. It doesn't give me any time. Like there's so many things that if you're honest, it doesn't do for you. Then that means you have two options. You can stay on that track or you can create a new life for yourself. And so that was like a really scary time for me because that meant that I would have to right size some of the business endeavors. Some of the restaurants were going to need to close because they weren't profitable. Some of the investments needed to get sold. And it literally took me 4 years to reprioritize my life so that I could get the things that I said that I wanted, which were, better, more happiness and peace and contentment and more time for myself and more money. And so it took some time and a lot of effort and a lot of years to kind of get it worked out. But
And it sounds
yeah.
like you also had to kind of reestablish priorities too.
Oh yeah. You definitely have to reestablish priorities. If you're a person like me and the priority is just success, right? Like to what end?